Welcome to the Marathon Training Diaries, where I take you behind the scenes of my mind and thoughts as I train for my very first marathon. Something that I've been struggling with recently is feeling like I'm actually doing enough with my days. I know time is limited and I want to make the most out of this life, but it can be challenging. I work from home most of the week, so the days can easily start to blur together, especially when I don't really have a reason to leave the house. But my runs help keep me grounded. They give me a reason to go outside. They are something that is challenging and forces me to think about the goals that I want to achieve, and that they will take consistent effort to manifest into reality. No matter how I'm feeling, whether I want to or not, whether I'm sad, anxious, unmotivated, I have still made the commitment to show up for my training and take another bite out of the giant apple that is marathon training. I am very grateful that I have the privilege to go out and run throughout the week. I'm grateful that my body is healthy enough to support the training and that I have access to good running shoes and fuel and the support from my fiance and my dog and my cat to keep me going. I honestly don't really know what I would do without them. I have always struggled with staying consistent. For as long as I can remember, I've constantly been picking up new skills, which also inherently means dropping other skills in order to make room for the new ones. I have a serious case of shiny object syndrome, as my fiance Bella would agree. I've never really been able to stick with something long enough to see the great results or feel like it's truly a part of my identity. I long for skills and hobbies and behaviors that I can proudly own and call my own and know that they will be a part of me for the rest of my life. Running is starting to feel like one of those things. I have been running consistently for about 7 months now after recovering from my ankle injury last year. I ran my first half marathon a few months ago, and now I am committed to training for my first full marathon, which takes place in about 3 months. I'm both scared of getting an injury, scared of not showing up for my training, scared of being too slow and not good enough. But I'm also excited. I'm excited to see how far I can go and how far I can push myself, and just to show up for race day and be surrounded by that energy. And I can't wait to see where I end up by the end of it. Since this is my first marathon training block, there are obviously certain aspects of training which I'm still getting the hang of. Fueling is probably the one that stands out the most. I never really learned how to feed myself growing up, or even in college. When going to school in middle school and high school, I would get the hot lunch there in the cafeteria, and then in college I lived on campus, so I had access to the dining halls. So I never really had to prepare food for myself until after graduating and being sent out into the wild as an adult. 4 years of being released into the world, and I am still struggling with that. But if there's one thing about marathon training, it's that your body will demand that you take fueling seriously. Because if you don't, then you won't have the energy for your runs, you won't recover, and you'll feel like absolute garbage outside of training. You won't sleep well. You won't feel good at work. You're going to be hangry all the time. So I'm really working on listening to my body's signals and trying my best to eat enough throughout the day, which is kind of the main challenge, because I need to constantly be eating and taking my food into consideration throughout the day. When am I going to be able to eat? What am I going to be able to eat? How am I going to get access to it? I'm constantly thinking about these things. So if I forget or push it to the side, then I'm going to be underfueled, and that is no bueno. I easily get overwhelmed and anxious about finding the right things to eat and actually preparing the food. It's always been a habit of mine to just wait until I'm extremely hungry and low energy and ready to kill someone before I just take out my phone and place an order on some takeout app and go pick up garbage food. Because that's a lot less work than preparing it yourself. But it's not sustainable, and it won't support my training. So I'm making the decision to put more emphasis on my fueling and to make sure that I'm eating more whole foods. The general framework that I'm trying to follow is to try and eat as much food that my great-great-grandmother would have recognized, and not the processed crap that's all too available in this country.
He just likes to hide under here.
He likes the cloth that I have over it too.
But how's that air? How about that airline food? Oh.
Am I looking at the right spot? I'm looking at the Canon logo.
Well, not for this. For a slate, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you talk directly to the camera for a slate. Are you ready?
Let's do a rehearsal take.
Yeah.
Rehearsal take. Rehearsal take.
I'm not gonna film it,
It's
but
gonna be a rehearsal take.
just read through it.
Yeah.
I am also trying to make sure that I keep my mind balanced with other activities without jumping around too much. Piano has become a great creative outlet for me. I never took piano lessons when I was younger. I just kind of learned the basics when I was in college, just self-taught. But I'm trying to play a little bit every day and teach myself from old books we have lying around, and just make that a part of my regular routine as a good creative, expressive outlet, and something else that I can show up consistently for myself and make small incremental improvements on. Overall, I think the main takeaway from this session of the Marathon Training Diaries is to be kind to myself and stick to less things over a longer period of time, and make sure that those things are going to bring you closer to where you want to be. And I think that simple framework and simple mindset is going to have profound impacts in the future. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.